Hi, it's me again with CorelDraw tips and tricks, part 2 of this. Add a little bling to it, make it look kind of three-dimensional, and I didn't really work on it that hard. And if you did it from the start, so if you didn't watch the first one, I did this one with black and white. I'm going to go ahead and hit P, put it in the center of the page, and then I'm going to go to group and ungroup. And now I have individual pieces. But the difficult with this type work is I'm going to set my nudge factor on 2.2 inches. If you look at this and we change it, it's already starting at 180 degrees. So you've got to add 60 to it. So I found it's just easier to move it out of the way, left click, right click, and then take your Smart Fill tool, fill it in, and then move it over, and we'll make it that same gray. Now you can see when we do it, it's at 0 degrees. So to me, it's a little easier when you have to rotate it. So with that one selected, we're going to grab the interactive fill tool, and I'm going to add a little black. Now, if you did this from the start, it would be, a lot easier. You know what? I'm going to bring it out. I'm going to change this, put a little bit more gray in it. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. But now the advantage is, working in the center of the page, we can Control D and duplicate it. Double click on your rotation and put it in the center. Doesn't look like it is, but it is. Then rotate that 60 degrees. Control D, Control D, Control D, Control D. So you really only had to do one of them. I'm going to kind of look to see if I did every gray. Yeah, I did every gray a little bit. So now we're going to do the star, or the part of the star, interactive fill tool. And you really can't, let's try it. Copy the, see it does it, but it puts it off, but it does get you the interactive fill tool mode, so we could change it. It's almost easier to start from the start, because by the time you figure out, so select it. Got to be selected when you do this. Interactive fill tool, and we'll just go there and there and put a little darkness. And, the other one I did, I'd use more colors. That looks pretty good. But what you can do now is Control D. And see, it's 180 degrees. So we can go 240. Well, we can if we change the rotation of the center. But I just find it's easier when you use the Smart Fill tool to just make a new object. I didn't make a duplicate, so I'm going to go back to 180. And then Control D, Control D, Control D. I must have hit that twice. Control D, and I need to go back. No. Tell you what, let's get this one right here. Control D and go 120. Now, why is that doing that? Okay, somehow that one was on top. And you could keep going. You could do the blacks. Yeah, we're going to keep going. Control D, and see, it's at 180. So to me, it'd be so much easier, especially if you get lost. And if you don't hit that X, that's why sometimes you get the shape tool. $300, because we're just rotating 60 degrees every time. You know what? Did I miss that first one? There we go. Somehow I missed this one. I didn't change my rotation. But what I was saying earlier, if you did this from the very start, this would be very easy to reproduce. I didn't make a duplicate. Go back to 180. So I made a duplicate. There we go. And you could still do these blacks and then just do what we did in the previous video, Control G to group. This time I'm not going to use math. I'm going to go 2 inches. This is 2 inches big. Control D. Now why is that doing that? I said I wasn't going to use math and then I'll bring up a calculator. Oh, let's make it 2 inches. There we go. Change this to 2. Control D. Now this time we're not going to use math. And if you hit it the first time correctly, the Control D will work. So I'm going to Control G to group it, Control D to duplicate it, and grab that 4-sided cross and have it snap to. I did it perfectly, so now I can go Control D. The only disadvantage in doing it this way is that it's giving you at an angle. Control G to group, Control D to duplicate, and see if we can't hit it on the mark. If you hit on the mark the first time, Control D will work. Anyway, that's big enough. Make sure I just got, I just want one of those. So, just like we did in the first video, group this together, Control G, and I'm just going to draw a rectangle. Make sure you get all the white. Go and intersect it. And there you have I missed a little chip right there, but a really weird I missed one of the blacks, but you could kind of see the pattern in there. I like my first one the best. Nah, I kind of like this. And I could have, I didn't do these blacks and I missed that one. But anyway, just something to play with. Hope that helped. Thank you for watching.